What's going on, everybody? What's going on to all the Hurricane fans out there? I'm joined again with Cholo, here to talk about the Miami Hurricanes again. If you haven't checked out our previous videos, we did a few previous videos regarding the Hurricanes, season preview or part two, some commits that happened a few months ago and a few weeks ago. So definitely check those out. Here in this particular video, we're going to focus on good news and a bad news that's happened over the last few weeks, and we had the scrimmage that happened last weekend, so we're going to touch a bit about that. And, of course, we'll just touch a little bit on the schedule that came out, just give our opinion about the schedule. Cholo, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Dan? We're good, man. Excited. It looks like we're going to have some football.
Oh, we're going to have some football. So far, so good. Knock on wood, we're going to have some football. I mean, in an age and a day that we actually need to have football, we really want to have football. We need sports. We're clamoring for it. I know I am. I'm itching for a football season. So
yeah, we had a scary week, man, with the Big Ten and all their threats. But if all goes good, God willing, sounds like we're gonna be facing off with UAB on September 10th.
Yeah, it's gonna be a Thursday night game there. It's a fun looking schedule. I'll give them that. It does look like a very fun schedule. I know we had spoken. I can't remember if it was on air or off air. We definitely gave our opinion on the schedule before it came out. A few things came true, a few did not. But a couple of the wishes were definitely granted, especially on your end there. So, and on my end too, some of my wishes came true too. So, that's a good thing too. So let's start off with some. In the last few weeks here, we actually had some good news and bad news, and it hit on the exact same day. Out of all the times we're gonna have good news, bad news, it hit on the same day. It started off with Leonard Taylor committing to the University of Miami, 5-star defensive tackle out of Palmetto, which was a huge get for the Hurricanes, a big area of need there. And then had the bad news of Gregory Rousseau decided to opt out, and it's like took all that wind out of the sail for the Hurricanes that day. It's like you went from a high to a low really quick when we heard Rousseau was opting out, because it would have been super fun to watch Rousseau and Quincy Roche and Jalen Phillips, that three-headed monster, that the defensive end, just go after the QB all year long. But Miami is thankfully has a good depth there at defensive end. Especially with Jalen Phillips, the 5-star that transferred from UCLA 2 years ago. He had a sit-out last year. He's very capable of getting after the quarterback, along with Quincy Roche, the transfer from was it Rutgers, I believe, off the top of my head. Temple. It was Temple, actually. Sorry, Temple. I knew it had to be one of those schools there. It was a transfer from Temple, one of the high gets of the offseason as well. So the good news and the bad news, how did you take it, Cholo?
I kind of took it the same way. We spoke about it a little bit. I don't know if we spoke it on the Zoom or if we spoke about it in off air, but we did talk about some top players maybe opting out, and you can't blame them. He's right now projected to he's definitely going to go in the first round, and he's talked about as being one of the top defensive players up there with Mekhi Parsons from Penn State. So definitely you can't blame him about his money. I know he got a lot of heat on Twitter about it, that he should play the year, that he didn't even start the beginning of last year. But no, his stock is so high right now that he can't risk it. And yeah, good luck to you. Hey, represent you well in the league. And we appreciate what you did for us. But in the end, it's a position, yes, we're going to miss him, but it's a position that we're fortunately very deep in. Jalen Phillips was the #1 recruit of his class, I believe, of 2017. And then hearing from the staff, this guy's athleticism has stayed with all that size that he's been putting on. He's up to 270 right now. He can still do a backflip. Him and Roche could honestly wreak havoc. And we have some young players. We have a couple of guys there that have been going through Feely's program. And the one that everyone keeps talking about is Chance Williams, redshirt freshman. Looks like a little bit of a freak athlete out there at defensive end. His body is starting to fill out. him and Harvey, we should have a really, if we're gonna lose anybody, a star athlete like that. And yes, we're gonna miss, the potential of him. He could have been an All-American for us. He honestly could have brought in a whole bunch of awards that would bring more eyes to the University of Miami. But if we're gonna lose anybody, Roche, we do have the depth to make up for his production. Maybe not by just one player, maybe by multiple players there on the defensive line.
Yeah, you brought up another player there, Jafari Harvey. That he's definitely going to get a lot more snaps now. He came on last year. Now he's in his second year there. He's definitely going to get more looks with playing right behind Jalen Phillips and Quincy Roche. Chance Williams has been touted really high by the coaches and the players as well, and I agree with you about that. They definitely have a lot of depth at that position too. So as much as we're going to hate seeing Greg Rousseau go, and he made the decision based up his personal. He came out and actually talked about it. He didn't hide away from it, which was, more props to him. I don't fully understand 100% why a lot of these players are going to opt out, especially when you're not going to have football contact for over a year. It's like you're not going to have real contact for over a year, and you're really going to probably even have your greater chance of injury when you really put on all the pads and actually go full speed. You can't simulate full speed. And yeah. Greg Rousseau, Micah Parsons, all those who opt out cannot simulate full speed contact during any kind of offseason, really. You can't do one-on-one. You need the 11-on-11 full game, full contact type of thing. And that just opened my only concern with Rousseau and all these other ones that opt out, or they actually, are going to be prone to injury a lot more than they are now. And I understand with coronavirus.
There's a difference in being in shape and being in football shape. Sure, and being away from the game is hard, but people do it. People get hurt, they come back. It's going to be a weird year in football anyway. So if he's going to opt out, this would be the way to do it. It'd be better than you remember Jadeveon Clowney's junior year with South Carolina. He was playing not to get hurt, so it felt like he wasn't going all the way hard in his plays. Garvin last year, he was a potential first, second round pick, and he didn't live up to the hype, and it hurt his stock. He went in the 7th round in the last draft. So, and then you have great stories. Maybe Artie Burns came out, killed it at the combine, became a first-round pick. KJ Osborne was supposed to be undrafted, and he ended up getting drafted because of his play in an extra year playing here at the University of Miami. But you have stories like that. And honestly, it's got to be a next man up mentality. Yep. Hey, Rousseau's gone. If there's nothing we can do about it, he's already hired an agent. I heard that he's already started working out as of yesterday. So there's nothing we can do about it. You can't cry over spilled milk, and we just need the next who, like we said, Phillips was a 5-star player when he went to UCLA in 2017, highly recruited, the number 1 on the board throughout the nation. So it's time to live up to the hype, my man. Let's go.
Yeah, well, what you're saying there with the next man up, the Canes just had their first scrimmage, their first fall scrimmage. This past Saturday. It was closed to the media. It was closed to the public. So the only thing we know is what we get from the personnel themselves, from the coaches, from the people who are actually able to talk to the media. So, we get different stats and whatnot. And I know as Canes fans, and I'm going to definitely speak for 99% of probably Canes fans, the ones that actually follow, we really, really are keeping our eyes and ears to what's going on with the offense, the offensive line. Derek King, the attack on offense, the spread offense, what Rhett Lashley is doing. That's going to be the key and focus this year. I know with the added ACC games, a lot of pundits are not, being high up on the Canes, but I'm very high up on the Canes again this year, but for more reasons than one. But, on the scrimmage, you had Derek King throw for 4 touchdowns for 175 yards. You had Restrepo do an end around or some sort of run for 70 yards and whatnot. You had all these good-looking stats on the offense and defense. But like I said, I mentioned this on Twitter, and you can go to our Twitter handle. You got Cholo305. You got Dan Tames at Dan Tames out there on Twitter. I'll put the handle down there, so you guys can go ahead and follow because we'll put out more content. But one thing I said, and one of the beat writers, I don't know if he's a beat writer, but one of the people who actually follow the Kings, Manny Navarro, he said, guys, we don't know if it's first string versus second string, first offense versus second defense, first defense versus second offense, who was lined up where, who what packages and whatnot. We didn't even know that Brevin Jordan didn't line up until afterwards. We didn't know that Al Blades didn't play until afterwards. We didn't know that certain people didn't play or were being held out. You had Jalen Phillips only play one quarter. So, it's the scrimmages aren't exactly a full game. It's not a full game. Let's rehearse it just like an exact game. It's a controlled scrimmage in a sense. I know you have experience going through scrimmages and whatnot. So what's your take on what happened this last Saturday?
I mean, it's great that they're having the pads on. They're actually going out. They're practicing. We're not hearing of new injuries or anything of that. Like I know the Brevin Jordan thing is something that's been since last year. I think he's still recovering from whatever surgery that he had. I mean, the biggest news, to my opinion, is the offensive line. We got Big Williams, who came over from Houston, and we thought for sure he was going to be our starting left tackle. And it turns out they started him over at the right tackle, and it turned at the right tackle. And it looks like Rhett Lashley doesn't care about, I guess, the mobility of Derek King that allows him to be able to say, I don't really care about blocking for his blind side because my quarterback is so mobile. I just want to put my players in the best spot and have the best 5 start. So we have Williams here on the right side. We have John Campbell it looks like he's taken over the left side. And the biggest surprise is Zion. Zion starting at left guard at that. He came in last year as a true freshman in January, weighing 240, started the season around 270. Now they're saying he's bulked up to like 315. And if he's big enough to be out there playing guard, that's very impressive work on his part, honestly, on Coach Feely's part, for building up this young man into from playing left tackle and struggling at that to being able to handle an interior defensive lineman. That means he's getting stronger. That means his technique is getting better. And that means that he's finding his way onto the field. The best 5 are going to start. And another surprise to me is that Ja'Kai Clark is not starting. I think Ja'Kai Clark was one of our best guards. And it looks like they recruited him as a center. So it looks like they want to put him there as center. And if he wants to start, he's going to have to beat somebody out there for the starting center spot.
Yeah, definitely the offensive line has a lot of focus because of what happened last year. But on the flip side, they all return. I know there's one that decided to go ahead and redshirt for the year. But basically all the
Navon Donaldson.
Yeah, Navon Donaldson. He decided to take a red shirt, focus on him and whatnot. Good for him. He'll be back next year. All the other starters and even some of the backups from last year are all back with that experience. You add Jared Williams, you add Isaiah Walker, who hasn't been cleared yet for what I know, but we
have Isaiah Walker. We have DJ Scaife. Remember, Cleveland Reed was threatening to leave, and he stayed. So we have depth, and that's the way that we're gonna grow, is by having a 2 deep offensive line. Not that if our left tackle or even if our center gets hurt, it screws up the whole offensive line like it used to, because our backup is now a true freshman or someone who wasn't supposed to be ready to start and is being forced into the starting lineup. Now you're talking about somebody who challenged to start and was beat out and is ready to come in and play. And like we talked about Greg Russo, hey, next man up, come in here. You were a 4-star, you were a 5-star, even a 3-star. You were recruited by the University of Miami, which always has a top 15, and now it looks like we're starting to get into the top 10s of recruiting classes. You were picked here to play football. We call you student athlete, but you're an athlete student, to be honest. And it's time to show your worth here on this field.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, it's only the first scrimmage, so I say, relax.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got to take a deep breath, the stats look good. You know, there's some good, there's some high lows. People are like, oh, but look what our offense did to our defense. I'm so scared about the defense. No, I'm not worried about the defense at all.
Yeah.
That's the last thing. I haven't been worried about them for the last 3 to 4 years. I'm worried about the offense. Can the offense consistently sustain a drive? Can they score? Can they move the ball? Can Derek King make the right decisions? Can our receivers get open and whatnot? Can our offensive line block? I'm more concerned about the offensive line. I'm not for the offense side of the ball. I'm not concerned about the defense side of the ball because I know what Manny Diaz and that crew can do with the defense side of the ball. I'm not worried about them. So
anyone who's played any level of football knows that when it comes to training camps and when it comes to spring practices or anything like that, usually the defense is ahead of the offense.
True.
Now with this new offense that's been put in, it's looking the opposite way, and it's got to be. It's a very positive. Our defenses was in the top 10, top 5 defenses in all of the NCAA the last 2 years under Manny Diaz. Now, if we can get an offense out here that can put up at least 24 points a game, that's what we need. If we can have at least 24 points a game, that's where I rest assured that my defense is not going to give up anymore. And if we're putting up 24 points a game, that means that my defense is not on the field every single play. We're not, the time of possession for the other team means my defense is getting some rest because they got another turnover chain and they're getting some rest, and my offense is putting points on the field. If my defense is getting rest, our defense is going to be better from having a better offense.
Yeah, I mean, I would want my offense to score at least 30 a game, could average. I mean, last year they averaged 20. The last 2 years was went from 25 point something to 24 point something. I mean, and the offense was supposed to be better under Enos than it was the last year of Rick, and it actually went down by a point or something like that. And if you look at the defense, if you look at our defense, they just need to – the offense just put up average 30 points a game, if not high, 30 points or higher per game. And our defense can, they can do their part to keep, to keep the opponent from scoring or minimize it or whatever, So they can definitely do their part. Not that our defense is perfect, our defense is not lights out or whatever, but our defense can definitely do their job. And all the offense has to do is do theirs. With Rhett Lashley in that offense, with Derek King, I have a lot of faith that they could definitely put up and move the ball.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's going to move us into this last little segment here of the schedule. The schedule came out just about a week and a half or so ago with the revised schedule. We were all excited to see what's going to change, and because we were adding a few more ACC with one non-conference. And I got my wish. I talked earlier about our wish list. I got my wish. We opened up against UAB. We opened up against a team that we should smack around pretty good. Not that they're not going to be a tip over. They're not going to be easy, but it's a team that you should be able to put up 55 plus on. You should. There should be no excuse you can't put up 55 plus on that team. That way you get a confidence, you get that rust out, you get some kind of momentum going, because the first 4 games or the next 3 games after that, that's a pretty good test to see how you're, to get your feet wet into the season. At Louisville, which is projected to finish second in the Coastal, in the Atlantic for some reason. I don't know why, but they're projected second. You have Florida State, then a bye, which is good, I guess you could say, to get ready for Clemson. You got your wish. You got Clemson. I wanted the bottom 2 teams. We did get North Carolina State, which is one of the supposed bottom 2 teams. But we got Clemson. It's a good barometer. If Miami happens to be 3-0 by the time you get to that bye week, you bet your bottom dollar it's going to be a very, very hype week leading up to Clemson there. So what's your take about the schedule?
I'm excited about it. UAB, like you said, we're not starting the season off with no FAMU. We're not starting the season off with a Bethune-Cookman. Where UAB is a good, let's get our feet wet before we get into the ACC schedule kind of game. Right. And Louisville, they're projected. They can put up points, but I don't think they can stop it like they used to. They're not there. So I believe that we can slow down that offense and we can score points on them. And FSU is a whole mess what's going up there. So I'm super excited to see them week 3. And then, we have the blessing of a bye week before Clemson. And we don't have to, Clemson is about the environment. Clemson, it'd be a night game. They do the whole running down the hill, and they can do that all they want, but no bands, no fans. It's going to be a different environment here. Yeah,
That's
they
true.
have the 5 stars. Yeah, they have those top recruiting classes they've had the last couple of years. But we have a team now that can compete. We have a team now that's young enough, and we have the offense. And the biggest thing that we have is the quarterback. We have Derek King now, and we have the quarterback that can help lead us. I feel like we've had the weapons for many years, and the quarterback that kind of neglects, or that kind of evens out our offensive line that's still growing, that's still young. It's like I'm super excited about the schedule. I really think that we're going to go 3-0 going into that Clemson game.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they change, obviously the ACC schedule makers think that it's going to come down to UM in North Carolina. And that's why they put us at the last game before the ACC championship game. So, it sucks that we're not playing them in the October heat. They're going to get a little bit of a break, get a little bit of a breeze in December. But I believe that the Canes will win the Coastal.
I truly believe the Canes. Well, there's no Coastal or whatever, but I do believe the Canes will be one of the top 2 teams out there. They'll definitely battle with Clemson and Notre Dame and whatnot in North Carolina. Every game is crucial, but I still can't figure out why. A lot of the pundits out there and these so-called experts are, giving Miami a 4-6 ACC season, and they're going 5-5, and they're like, you're going to lose to these teams, but you're going to beat these teams. I'm saying, like, come on. I understand what happened last year. I get it. Listen, when the preseason rankings came out, I didn't want them to be ranked. I want them to be able to earn a ranking.
Yeah.
Listen, Virginia Tech barely beat Miami, barely beat them last year in the kind of season Miami was having, and they're ranked. And their top player on defense just opted out.
Yeah.
Caleb Farley, he opted out.
But it's the unknown. It's the unknown. And honestly, this is where we need to be.
Agreed. I want them to go under the radar. Absolutely.
Fly under the radar. You go 3-0, and then they're like, oh, okay, maybe we'll put you in the top 25 or whatever kind of system that I guess they're gonna have this year. And we'll see what happens going into Clemson. But definitely excited about what's going on, man. I know this isn't like on the agenda, but I really like what's going on with our running back group. Cam Harris has taken these young kids, and everyone is talking about Jalen Knight. Everyone's talking about this kid, and it's exciting, man. I'm super excited about what's going on with this team.
Hey, we're all super excited. We're excited about the schedule, excited about the players that are here, about the scheme that, thank goodness that, thank God that we finally have, and just this, this is why I said, let's just get through the first 4 games. After that, I just want to see this offense do what I know it can do, what we know it can do with the athletes we have. And with the type of scheme that what Lashley brings, I know this could be a scary good offense.
Yeah, and if they show what they can do, that's going to bring the last piece that we need in this recruiting class, which is a quarterback. And we got a kid I know he's committed to USC, but he's playing ball up there in Georgia. I know we're all looking at him. I'm not going to say his name until I get something from him. But
bring Garcia to the U. Garcia to the U, baby. I'll say it. Garcia to the U. Come on, Jake. Come on. Come on, Jake.
We're looking for him.
All right, Cholo, man. I really appreciate you talking about the Canes right now, and we'll definitely be back in just a little while to talk some more Canes before the season starts, and we'll continue to go on through the season. So don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Untamed Opinion. The link is down there below. Don't forget, you can go ahead and if you got Twitter, here's a Twitter handle for Cholo. Here's my Twitter handle, and Cholo305 and Dan Tang. So feel free to follow. We're gonna put out more content. Enjoy, and we'll see you soon.
Appreciate it.
Later.